So we'll look a little bit on the interface, see how's everything working, but I think it's sometimes need fun to create something. And we'll go create a brush that you may use it, create the forest or some plants, some interesting things. So in this case, what I'm going to do, it's using fuzzy, our particle. And again, remember, if you let's actually close this one. You probably come in this interface and you're going like this. So we'll go to switch, at least kind of adjust how I like to work on this. I'll expand this one slightly. So we'll have a little bit more room with our properties. And I'm going to click Show Brush Creator. Again, if your brush creator may be flowing somewhere like in a screen, you can drag and bring down. After this, I'm going just a little bit readjusting, reposition this elements so I can preview all of the properties inside. You don't necessarily need to do this. It's mostly for you so you can see all the settings we have currently. And right now this is just fuzzy and I don't know which one was selecting. So usually I'm just going and let's reset everything to the 0. So we'll just go like this crazy. Okay. Let's first, what I'm going to do, it is my size. Let's put opacity a little bit up so we can see it, and we'll have it lines wide. So as we're drawing, you can see right here we have one single element. One thing what how I said before, I do recommend creating actually layer for vector based. In this case, when we're going to draw, we can leave it. We can switch to edit mode and preview all of this element. Of course, some of this not visible because they're teeny tiny, but they're there. For example, we can increase size of them and we will preview that. Okay, so we have our opacity, our size. Let's make lines width increasing, and you can see right here we have our lines going. It does not necessarily look very good, so we'll just play a little bit with the lines right now. Just leave it right there. Next, let's add amount of particles. So as we add a little bit more particles, you can see they start growing, and we can also increase a length of those particles. In some case, this will be our stem. It's what we're creating, and of course we'll rework as we're going along. Okay, now the string, currently just one string, and it's because fuzzy. We can go very crazy, create like 23 different strings coming out. But I think for the beginning, we'll just go stick around 2 strings. And let's make radius a little bit bigger for the strings. Maybe 11. Okay, speed and noise. Again, remember it is because strings. If we add overall how it's calculating, you can see how crazy become those strings. And the noise, again, it's how randomly they will place it. I'm not necessarily like how going this way, and I will reduce my speed and we'll take noise a little bit down so we can calculate, create a little bit better this, adjustments. Okay, when you find a right speed, so it's a shape look good, we can play a little bit more with the length. In this case, you can see we reduce the length of our strings coming. We can go very crazy long strings, but I think for the plants, maybe around this length will work good. Overall shapes. And same with the radius, you can make them thinner, thicker, and you can see what problem is when we have it thicker, right in this area they start separating. So I'm not necessarily like this way. By the way, we're working with the shapes as the lines is set. I forgot to tell about that. Okay, and I'm not necessarily radius like this way, so we'll go just reduce slightly, bring a little bit closer together. We could add a little bit more softness to this. We'll add, but remember, when we add softness, it's creating nicer on a line. But if we do this, we'll need increased speed, so we'll have it a little bit more this distortion poking out. Okay, we can always work with the softness, just a little bit down. Okay, I'm looking right here how they're going a little bit too symmetrical. So we need maybe introduce a little bit of a speed noise, adding a little bit more randomization around there. Okay, so now we have it with the lines, and currently it says to the stroke. We can always switch to the sequence, and we can modify if we want to use an image. Again, remember, this will be for the texturing that is applied to this. So as a texturing going, we'll go select, and let's select maybe something more as the right here, I think. Yeah, some of these pre-cut brushes. So I think maybe around radius. Again, let's create small dots, not necessarily look good, so we can play maybe around this one. We'll have a little bit jaggy edges with that brush. So yeah, let's go ahead. We'll leave it here. Repeat, let's set 1, 1. So we'll do just one repeat. We don't need it too many of them. And yeah, I think this is okay. Select next. Okay, we'll look. And we have a shape profiles. We don't want to use a direction because it won't work for us in this case. We want profile the vertical. Okay, also profile, let's switch to the lines. If we need it, add a little bit more twist on the end. We, of course, let's go with these ones. It'll add on the beginning and end, just a little bit smoother to touch. However, if you want to add more closer to the tree kind of look, we can get thicker on the beginning, thicker, and thinner on the end. So kind of, you can play with those ones. Overall thickness, we'll probably just add a little bit. And I'm not sure if I like the rugged edge. It's kind of nice if it's painting, but I think this one will make a little bit nicer, kind of from thin up. So we can go with this, or just go with the dots. You can play around, see which one, what brush you think will work kind of more interesting in your case. I think that just normal brush, just as a different, but again, we can modify this. Okay, so we have it width. We can apply reduce width jittering. Again, it's uniform, create or less uniform. We'll probably just bring a bit more. So it will create all this different apply effect. Okay, we can add, let's play a little bit more particles, add to this, add smoothness. Remember, if we add less particles, we'll have it less effect with the kind of plants. Okay, maybe play a little bit with link. In many cases now, when you start working with this, you can kind of start playing and see how it will go. Okay, overall, when you kind of like and satisfy with the shape that is going, we can start working on the colors. Again, this is just one color in the normal blending mode. So what is happening if I switch to the lighten? In this case, elements, right now it's white, you cannot see it. But if we switch to different color, you can see on intersections, it's become a little bit more glowing. In some cases, we can almost create the effect look like plant growing in avatar or other effect. Again, let's leave it on lighting for now. And instead color, I want to go to the gradient. And when I go to the gradient, that become more interesting because from point of particles is changing. So let's go ahead, open our gradient library. And in the gradient library, we have it all is different. We can try it and see which one. If you don't find one, we can always modify and select one. For example, we can base it maybe on this one from darker to light. Okay, and let's switch this to the normal so we can preview a little bit better. And you can see also, let's pop up opacity just a little bit higher. And you can see right here we have a darker color. So we can go and actually add even more darker green on the end right here. Medium point, right, this one. We can go a little bit, maybe greenish here, brighter. And on the top, let's go even more green. So you can see how our gradients is applied to this. Again, we can go and add maybe even more to this effect, kind of reddish, so we can create as well, maybe right here on the end. Let's enable one more to the end, and I want to create a very deep greener color. Okay, let's go enable this one as well, and we'll create this glowing green. So you can see how we add kind of interesting elements. Again, you can play more with this. You can modify, of course, overall luminosity if you want to hue saturation, but I think luminosity will take down. Okay, in this case, around here, let's restore our hue back. We can pop up saturation more if we need it kind of glowing, or less, but maybe a little bit more in this case. So play with colors, see which one is working. Okay, when we're done, let's close this one and select our brush. At this point, we can actually start trying to play around with the plants. And you can see as I'm going, I can create all of these weird looking grass or plants around. Again, this was my attempt creating like almost alien landscape. You can create it on a back. And if this work a little bit too noisy for you, remember you can go back to your original. Let's select our layer, edit, and we can go here and edit again. So for example, we can take our speed a little bit less, speed noise down. We can increase amount of the string, so we'll have a little bit more as well. Increase or reduce link. So in this case, we can create a little bit more. It's actually almost look like underwater elements. And of course, if we select to the lighten, now we have those overlay elements. Darken if we're going with creating kind of more on a white background, but I think the lighten may work better this way. Okay, also let's select our opacity. I think this opacity probably will work a little bit better. The couple things also want to kind of point that we have its size, we have amount of particle. More particles will be smoother in some cases will affect, because if we have less particles, we may have a different effect. So remember, set some of those as well. And for this one, we'll want to just bring a little bit more particles, so it will create calculations a little bit better on a chaotic effect. Okay, play maybe a little bit with the light link, and let's increase on a radius just slightly. Yeah, a little bit of radius. Again, you can kind of almost, non-stop playing with this brush preset, and this is what I found that my biggest problem with this. It's so fun tool, so you just sit down and you start kind of drawing, and you have a lot of fun to do this. Okay, we have preset, and now you're kind of done with brush, but you want to use it. So next, remember what you need to do if you like it. You need to click in a brush creator on this hamburger, go to save as new brush preset. Okay, so we're going to click save new brush preset, and right here you can see it's come with drop brush icon here. So we can go and select, because I want from the plant, I go like this from top up, so it's kind of present for me. Name of the brush and alien plants, and we have it paint graphics effect. So I want paint. We can also add green plant alien glow. So you can add all these tags. Remember, the tags will help other people to search, or even for you in amount of this. And when you're done with this, okay, you know what, maybe even a little bit more. Oh, too much. Okay. We can go ahead and click Save. And at this point, we have our library right here. We have a new brush, Edit, Alien Plants. So from this point, if we're going and create new, and you can use it all preset brush that already have there. You can create a new brush. Okay, we can select brush that we already have it, and there you go. We can kind of growing our new plants, our alien plants. We can grow them right here. Thank you for watching this tutorial, and be sure to stick around for more tutorials on creating different brushes for leaves, and other ones we're going to do that.